Hello, everyone. Let me tell you a story. It's not a story about grand parties or countless friends. It's not about the chatter of a crowded room or the buzz of 100 voices. It's the story of a woman, perhaps you, perhaps someone you know, walking the quieter path of life. They call her friendless as if it's a flaw. But what they don't see is the profound strength it takes to walk alone. In the silence of solitude, she's found her voice. In the absence of others, she's discovered herself. You see, being without friends is not the absence of something, it's the presence of something far more significant: self-awareness. A woman with no friends is not a woman without worth. She is a woman who understands that her value isn't measured by the company she keeps, but by the light she carries within her. Solitude is often misunderstood. In a world that glorifies social connections, bustling networks, and the constant hum of interaction, solitude is frequently seen as a void, a lack of something, a state to be avoided at all costs. But solitude is not a deficit, it is a sanctuary. It is a sacred space where the noise of the world fades and the melody of the soul begins to play. Embracing solitude is an act of courage. It requires stepping away from the crowd, relinquishing the safety of numbers, and confronting the truths that arise when the distractions are gone. This is not the solitude of isolation or exclusion, but the intentional solitude of self-discovery, a solitude that holds the potential to transform, to heal, and to empower. In solitude, we meet ourselves in the purest form. There is no one to impress, no role to play, no mask to wear. The raw and unfiltered truth of who we are comes to light, and in that truth lies immense power. We begin to understand our desires, our fears, our strengths, and our vulnerabilities. It is in solitude that clarity emerges, allowing us to align with our true purpose and make choices rooted in authenticity. This strength found in solitude is not given, it is earned. It requires a willingness to sit with discomfort, to face the questions that linger in the quiet, and to resist the urge to escape into the superficial comforts of distraction. But through this process, something remarkable happens. The fear of being alone is replaced by a sense of peace. Solitude becomes a companion rather than an enemy, a source of strength rather than a sign of weakness. Solitude also fosters creativity and innovation. Many of history's greatest minds, from artists to inventors, have spoken of the profound insights gained during periods of solitude. When the world is silent, the mind is free to explore without limits, to imagine without constraints, and to create without judgment. It is in solitude that seeds of greatness are planted, nurtured by the quiet focus that only this state can provide. Moreover, embracing solitude strengthens our relationships. It teaches us to value connection without dependency, to love without losing ourselves, and to give without depleting our reserves. By first finding fulfillment within, we approach others not from a place of need, but from a place of wholeness. This shift transforms the quality of our interactions, making them deeper, more meaningful, and more genuine. Solitude is also a mirror, reflecting the truth of our inner world. In the stillness, we confront our doubts, insecurities, and fears, but we also uncover our resilience, our courage, and our ability to grow. It is a place where healing begins and where wounds, both seen and unseen, are given the space to mend. For those who learn to embrace it, solitude becomes a wellspring of strength that feeds every aspect of life. It is a reminder that even when the world grows silent, we are never truly alone. For within us lies a voice that is strong, unwavering, and ready to guide us forward. Self-acceptance is the foundation upon which a fulfilling life is built. It is not simply the act of tolerating oneself, it is the deep and unwavering acknowledgement of one's worth, independent of achievements, appearances, or the approval of others. It is the recognition that being enough is not a destination to reach, but a truth that exists from the moment we come into this world. The journey to self-acceptance is not linear, nor is it easy. It requires unlearning the narratives that tell us we must be someone else, somewhere else, or something more to be worthy. From an early age, many of us are conditioned to measure ourselves against a set of external expectations, grades, accolades, beauty standards, career milestones. The message is clear: your value lies in how well you perform in a world that thrives on comparison. But self-acceptance calls us to step away from this treadmill of validation and to look inward instead. To accept oneself fully is to embrace the totality of who you are, the strengths that shine in the daylight and the shadows that linger in the corners. It is understanding that flaws and imperfections are not obstacles to worthiness, but integral parts of the human experience. There is no growth without failure, no courage without fear, and no authenticity without vulnerability. Self-acceptance invites us to stop fighting these truths and to instead hold space for them. This process demands compassion, the kind we so freely extend to others but often withhold from ourselves. How many times have you forgiven a friend for their mistakes while punishing yourself for your own? Self-acceptance asks us to rewrite that narrative, to treat ourselves with the same kindness we reserve for those we love. It is not about excusing every misstep, but about recognizing that we are more than our mistakes. When we accept ourselves, we free ourselves from the exhausting pursuit of perfection. Perfection is an illusion, a mirage that keeps us running toward an unreachable horizon. Self-acceptance reminds us that we do not need to be flawless to be deserving of love, respect, or happiness. It is in our imperfections that we find our humanity and our connection to others. Self-acceptance also transforms how we navigate relationships. When we embrace who we are, we stop seeking validation from external sources. Our relationships become less about filling voids and more about sharing fullness. We no longer shape-shift to fit into molds that were never meant for us. Instead, we show up as our true selves, inviting others to do the same. This authenticity strengthens bonds as the people who resonate with our truth are drawn closer, and those who do not naturally drift away. Another facet of self-acceptance is learning to honor our emotions without judgment. Too often, we label our feelings as good or bad, pushing away sadness, anger, or fear as though they are unwelcome guests. But self-acceptance asks us to listen to these emotions, to understand what they are trying to tell us, and to trust that they too are part of our journey. By doing so, we create space for emotional healing and resilience. The path to self-acceptance also involves confronting the internalized voices of criticism and doubt. These voices may have originated from others, parents, teachers, peers, but over time, they become our own. Self-acceptance challenges us to question these narratives. Who told me I'm not enough? Why do I believe it? And what would happen if I chose to believe otherwise? This questioning is not easy, but it is liberating. Ultimately, self-acceptance is an ongoing process, not a one-time event. It requires patience, practice, and a willingness to meet ourselves where we are, again and again. Every act of self-kindness, every moment of self-compassion, and every instance of choosing ourselves over external approval brings us closer to the peace that self-acceptance offers. It is a process of coming home to ourselves, of finding wholeness in the present, and of realizing that we are enough just as we are. In a world driven by likes, follows, and fleeting moments of applause, it can be easy to lose sight of what truly matters. The pursuit of popularity, though tempting, often leads to shallow connections and transient validation. Purpose, on the other hand, offers something far more enduring: a sense of direction, fulfillment, and meaning that outlasts the applause and transcends the opinions of others. Choosing purpose over popularity is not just a choice, it's a commitment to live authentically, to align with your deepest values, and to dedicate yourself to something greater than yourself. Popularity is seductive because it plays to our innate desire to belong. Humans are social creatures, wired to seek acceptance and avoid rejection. In this quest for approval, many people adjust themselves to fit into molds designed by others, sacrificing authenticity for the sake of being liked. But this form of validation is fragile. It requires constant maintenance, leaving you at the mercy of the shifting preferences of others. One moment you're celebrated, the next you're forgotten. Popularity feeds the ego, but often starves the soul. Purpose, however, is rooted in something far deeper. It's not about who is watching or what they think. It's about what drives you, what makes you feel alive, and what you are willing to dedicate your time and energy toward. Purpose is not contingent on external validation. It comes from within and remains steady. Even when the crowd disperses, it gives you the strength to keep going, even when the path is lonely or challenging, because you know why you're walking it. Choosing purpose over popularity often means making difficult decisions. It means saying no to opportunities that look good on the surface but don't align with your core values. It means standing firm in your truth even when it's not the popular thing to do. It means prioritizing impact over image and substance over style. This can be uncomfortable because it requires courage, the courage to be misunderstood, the courage to disappoint others, and the courage to trust yourself. But this discomfort is the price of living a life that is true to who you are. Living with purpose doesn't mean that you won't experience moments of recognition or admiration. Those moments may come. But when they do, they are a byproduct, not the goal. Purpose-driven people understand that their worth is not determined by how many people know their name, but by the legacy they are building. They focus on the quality of their contributions rather than the quantity of their followers. They measure success not by popularity polls, but by the alignment of their actions with their values. There's also an undeniable freedom in choosing purpose over popularity. When you stop chasing the approval of others, you free yourself from the constraints of their expectations. You no longer have to contort yourself into shapes that don't fit, speak words you don't believe, or pursue goals that don't inspire you. Instead, you are free to be fully and unapologetically yourself. This freedom is where creativity flourishes, where innovation is born, and where true impact is made. Purpose also provides resilience. Popularity can be fleeting. The same crowd that cheers you today may jeer you tomorrow. But purpose is unwavering. It grounds you in something that cannot be taken away, giving you the strength to endure criticism, setbacks, and failures. It reminds you that your worth is not tied to the opinions of others, but to the integrity with which you live your life. Furthermore, choosing purpose over popularity allows you to build a legacy that matters. Popularity fades with time, but purpose-driven work creates ripples that extend far beyond the present moment. It touches lives, inspires change, and leaves a mark that endures. The impact of a life lived with purpose cannot be measured in likes or accolades, but in the quiet, profound ways it shapes the world. Choosing purpose over popularity is not always the easiest path, but it is the most rewarding. It requires a deep commitment to self-awareness, an understanding of what truly matters to you, and the courage to live by those principles every single day. It's about choosing the long road over shortcuts, depth over breadth, and authenticity over superficiality. Boundaries are often misunderstood. They are seen as walls meant to divide, barriers that separate us from others. But in truth, boundaries are not walls, they are bridges. They connect us to others in healthier, more meaningful ways by ensuring mutual respect, understanding, and balance. Far from being acts of rejection, boundaries are acts of care for ourselves and for the relationships we hope to nurture. Setting boundaries begins with understanding ourselves. It requires an honest assessment of our needs, values, and limits. What energizes us? What drains us? What behaviors feel respectful? And which ones leave us feeling diminished? When we take the time to reflect on these questions, we create a blueprint for the boundaries we need to thrive. Without this clarity, we risk losing ourselves in the demands and expectations of others, leading to resentment, burnout, or even the erosion of our sense of self. Many people hesitate to set boundaries because they fear they will be perceived as selfish or unkind. But the truth is, boundaries are the opposite of selfishness. They are a way of saying, I value this relationship enough to ensure that it is sustainable. By communicating our limits, we allow others to understand us better and to engage with us in ways that are mutually beneficial. Boundaries are not about shutting people out. They are about inviting people in, but on terms that honor everyone involved. When we fail to set boundaries, we often end up overextending ourselves. We say yes when we mean no. We give more than we have to offer. We tolerate behavior that chips away at our well-being. Over time, this erodes the foundation of our relationships. Resentment builds, communication breaks down, and the connections we value most can become sources of stress instead of joy. By setting clear boundaries, we prevent these patterns from taking root. We create a framework for relationships that are sustainable, respectful, and rooted in authenticity. Boundaries also foster accountability. They encourage others to take responsibility for their actions and to engage with us in ways that are considerate and respectful. When we clearly articulate our needs and limits, we give others the opportunity to rise to the occasion. This can strengthen relationships by fostering mutual respect and trust. Conversely, when boundaries are absent or unclear, misunderstandings and conflicts are more likely to arise. One of the most profound ways in which boundaries build bridges is by promoting emotional safety. When people know where they stand with us, they feel more secure. They don't have to second guess our feelings or worry about overstepping unspoken limits. This clarity creates an environment where trust can flourish, where people can be themselves without fear of judgment or rejection. Boundaries in this way are not constraints, they are the scaffolding of trust. In addition to protecting our energy and well-being, boundaries also empower us to show up more fully in our relationships. When we honor our limits, we avoid the exhaustion and resentment that come from overextending ourselves. This allows us to engage with others from a place of abundance rather than depletion. We are able to give more freely because we are giving from a place of wholeness, not sacrifice. Moreover, boundaries are a form of self-respect. They send a powerful message to ourselves and others: I value myself enough to protect my peace. This self-respect is not only empowering, but also inspiring. When we model healthy boundaries, we give others permission to do the same. We create a ripple effect, encouraging a culture of mutual respect and understanding in our personal and professional lives. Boundaries are also dynamic. They evolve as we grow and as our relationships change. What we need today may differ from what we needed yesterday or what we will need tomorrow. Maintaining boundaries requires ongoing self-awareness and communication. It's a process of checking in with ourselves, reassessing our needs, and having the courage to adjust as necessary. In essence, boundaries are acts of love for ourselves and love for those we care about. They are not about drawing lines in the sand to keep others away, but about creating pathways to deeper connection and understanding. Boundaries define where we begin and where we end, allowing us to interact with others in ways that are respectful, balanced, and true to who we are. Self-reliance is one of the most empowering and transformative virtues a person can cultivate. It is the understanding that, at our core, we possess the strength, intelligence, and resilience to navigate life's challenges. It's not about rejecting help or isolating oneself, rather. It's about developing an inner foundation so strong that external circumstances or the opinions of others cannot shake it. True self-reliance is wisdom in action, a deep trust in oneself and a recognition of one's inherent capacity to thrive. The path to self-reliance begins with self-awareness. To rely on oneself, one must first understand oneself. What are your strengths? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What motivates you and what holds you back? Self-reliance doesn't demand perfection, it demands honesty. It requires acknowledging both your capabilities and your limitations and finding ways to work within them. This level of introspection allows you to tap into your unique resources, harnessing them to face life's uncertainties with confidence. A key component of self-reliance is emotional independence. Many people tie their sense of worth to external validation, relying on others for approval, love, or reassurance. While connection and support are important, self-reliance reminds us that our value is not something others bestow upon us, it is something we carry within. Emotional independence means cultivating a relationship with ourselves that is strong enough to withstand rejection, criticism, or disappointment. It is the ability to be your own source of encouragement, to comfort yourself in times of pain, and to celebrate your achievements without needing an audience. Self-reliance also involves taking responsibility for your own life. It is about owning your choices, your actions, and even your mistakes. This can be difficult as it requires stepping away from blame and excuses. But in taking responsibility, you reclaim your power. You stop waiting for others to fix your problems or create your happiness, and instead you take the reins of your own life. This proactive mindset leads to growth and self-empowerment as you learn to trust yourself and your ability to overcome challenges. The wisdom of self-reliance lies in its ability to foster resilience. Life is unpredictable, and there will be times when support from others is unavailable or insufficient. In these moments, self-reliance becomes your anchor. It allows you to adapt, to problem solve, and to persevere even in the face of adversity. Resilience is not about avoiding difficulties, but about navigating them with grace and strength, knowing that you have what it takes to weather any storm. Self-reliance does not mean isolation or rejecting the help of others. On the contrary, it enables healthier relationships by removing dependency. When you are self-reliant, you engage with others from a place of wholeness rather than need. You don't lean on people to fill voids or solve problems you could address yourself. Instead, you connect with them as equals, sharing support and companionship without losing your independence. This balance fosters mutual respect and deeper, more authentic connections. Another facet of self-reliance is the ability to make decisions confidently. When you rely on yourself, you learn to trust your judgment and intuition. You stop seeking constant advice or approval from others, and instead you turn inward for guidance. This doesn't mean you'll always make the right choice, but it does mean that you'll own your decisions and learn from them. Each choice, whether it leads to success or failure, becomes a stepping stone in your journey toward greater self-mastery. Self-reliance also encourages creativity and resourcefulness. When you trust yourself, you become less afraid to take risks or venture into the unknown. You find innovative solutions to problems because you know you can depend on your own ingenuity. This mindset not only benefits you but also inspires those around you, demonstrating the power of perseverance and adaptability. Moreover, self-reliance cultivates a sense of inner peace. When you stop looking to others to provide what you can give yourself, you free yourself from the anxiety of unmet expectations. You no longer feel the need to chase approval, and you are no longer dependent on external circumstances for your happiness. Instead, you find contentment in the knowledge that you are enough as you are and that you have everything you need within you to live a fulfilling life. The wisdom of self-reliance extends to every area of life. It influences your relationships, your career, your ability to pursue goals, and your capacity to handle setbacks. It teaches you that while support from others is valuable, it is your own strength, determination, and belief in yourself that ultimately shape your destiny. Gratitude is often associated with the joyful moments of life, the victories, the celebrations, the blessings that come easily and without struggle. But true gratitude extends far beyond the high points. It is a profound acknowledgement of the entire journey, including the challenges, the detours, and even the hardships that shape who we are. Gratitude for the journey is not just about appreciating where you've arrived, but honoring every step, every lesson, and every experience that brought you there. Life is rarely a straight path. It twists and turns, offering moments of triumph and times of deep uncertainty. It's easy to feel grateful when things are going well, when goals are met and dreams are realized. But the real depth of gratitude lies in recognizing the value of the struggles that forced you to grow, the failures that taught you resilience, and the losses that deepened your understanding of what truly matters. Gratitude for the journey is an act of perspective. It's the ability to see the beauty and purpose in all of it, not just the parts that felt good. Every challenge we face on our journey has something to teach us. Gratitude allows us to shift our focus from why did this happen to me to what is this trying to teach me. Difficult moments often hold the greatest opportunities for growth. They reveal our strength, clarify our priorities, and push us to evolve. While we may not welcome challenges when they arise, gratitude enables us to look back and see how they shape us. It helps us reframe pain as progress and obstacles as stepping stones. Gratitude for the journey also requires us to honor the small, seemingly insignificant moments that make up our lives. These are the moments that often pass unnoticed, the quiet mornings, the laughter of loved ones, the comfort of a familiar routine. When we pause to appreciate these moments, we realize that they are not fillers between the big events, they are the essence of life itself. Gratitude transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary, allowing us to see that the journey is not about waiting for grand milestones, but about finding joy and meaning in every step. Another profound aspect of gratitude is its ability to connect us to others. None of us walks our journey alone. Along the way, there are people who inspire us, challenge us, support us, or even hurt us, and each of them plays a role in our story. Gratitude for the journey includes recognizing the influence of these individuals, the mentors who guided us, the friends who stood by us, and even the adversaries who pushed us to stand stronger on our own. Each relationship, whether fleeting or enduring, contributes to the richness of our path. Gratitude for the journey is also an invitation to embrace imperfection. So often we focus on what didn't go as planned, the mistakes we made or the opportunities we missed, but gratitude shifts the lens, allowing us to see that the imperfect moments are just as valuable as the perfect ones. It reminds us that we are not defined by our missteps, but by the way we rise from them. Our imperfections are not flaws, they are evidence of our humanity and our capacity to learn and grow. This mindset also cultivates hope and optimism. When we practice gratitude for the journey, we train ourselves to see the good in every situation, even when it is hard to find. This doesn't mean ignoring pain or pretending everything is perfect. It means choosing to focus on what can be appreciated no matter how small. Gratitude becomes a beacon, lighting the way forward and reminding us that even in darkness, there is always something worth holding on to. Gratitude for the journey also requires us to be present. Too often we rush through life, always focused on the next destination or the next goal. But gratitude invites us to slow down and truly experience the moment we are in. It reminds us that the journey itself is the destination, and that every moment, no matter how mundane, is an opportunity to live fully and intentionally. By being present, we allow ourselves to savor the journey instead of simply enduring it. Finally, gratitude for the journey fosters humility. It reminds us that while we are the authors of our own stories, we are also part of something much larger. The twists and turns of our paths are influenced by forces beyond our control, chance encounters, acts of kindness, unexpected opportunities. Gratitude helps us recognize that our journey is not just about what we achieve, but about how we respond to what life gives us. It teaches us to approach each day with a sense of wonder and appreciation for the mystery of it all. As we stand at the crossroads of reflection and forward movement, let us remember that life's journey is not solely defined by its destination, but by the depth with which we embrace every step along the way. Whether we walk with a crowd or tread a solitary path, whether the road is smooth or scattered with obstacles, our greatest strength lies in our ability to find meaning, growth, and gratitude in every moment. Let us honor the power of self-awareness, the courage to set boundaries, the wisdom of self-reliance, and the resilience to choose purpose over fleeting approval. Let us carry with us the understanding that each challenge refines us, each relationship shapes us, and every step, whether triumphant or uncertain, adds to the tapestry of who we are becoming. As we move forward, let us not only seek to build lives we are proud of, but also to inspire others by the way we walk our journeys. May we be guided by authenticity, rooted in gratitude, and unwavering in our pursuit of purpose. For in doing so, we not only elevate ourselves, but also light the way for those who follow.